Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So I asked you guys in Instagram, like, ask me any questions you want, and I have a bunch of questions which I'm going to answer. Because of not having proper time to answer all the questions individually or putting them up on a story, I came up with the idea of maybe like answering them in one single YouTube video, and I'll share the link on Instagram anyway, so it will be there all the time. So at first, I think let's go to Instagram and let's get started with some of the questions that you have. First, I think if I say a little bit about the questions, maybe there were some questions regarding maybe tips to learn coding in a better and efficient way. That is one sort of question, like multiple questions in the same sort of manner. There were questions about like freelancing guide or something. And there are also other questions. So I'm going one by one. So one of the many questions is how to practice code in a simpler way and easy to remember. Well, first of all, you need to know the basics. Either you're learning from an online course or a book, or maybe most importantly, the official documentation of any language or framework, whatever you're learning. So once you're doing that and then you're coming up in front of a problem, like you're going to solve that problem or maybe like code that problem out. So I think it's better to use a pen and a paper so that you can at least formulate what you're going to do. Maybe you can write down the problem maybe in a way of algorithm or a pseudocode that you have formulated in your mind, and then maybe implement it in the IDE or wherever you're coding, and then see how it goes. I think like reading the problem thoroughly and understanding what you're going through is very important. So maybe by doing that and having a pen and a paper, like when you're writing it down, writing your thoughts down, like this is a good practice in my opinion. Like it will actually help you to improve your logic and be better at coding. Like in the next times, it won't be that difficult for you to formulate the things in a new way or something. So yeah, I think that's how you may practice. Then there is a question about freelancing guide on how to get clients. Okay, about freelancing, I personally am not a freelancer. I did freelance for a very short time, and of course, the thing is, I actually had like my gigs on Fiverr, and I used to promote them on other social media platforms, and somehow I got clients. So I think that's the best I can tell. You just need to promote yourself in actually the groups which are related, not unrelated groups. Like yeah, if you have gigs about web development or something, then you can go into web development groups or something, and then maybe you can promote those gigs, ask them to provide services. Otherwise, the thing is, do not spam. Just go. You don't go and post the links everywhere. That's the thing you shouldn't do. You should at least write something, provide some value, and then at the end you can say that you can also provide those services. If somebody wants, then they can contact you or something. That's how you might get clients. So that's one of the things I did, and yes, I got I think 4 or 5 clients, but that's actually I was doing a full-time job back then, so it was a side deal anyway. So yeah, I stopped it anyway. Then I think I've answered these questions. So also, there was a question about, can a data science easily shift to software engineer? Of course. It's up to you, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to choose. Anybody from any line or any path can actually switch to software development. How to learn coding? The thing is, it's very simple. How to learn coding? You need to understand that there are different paths like that goes forward through programming or coding. So you need to select which path you want to go through, right? You have to think about that you either want to go for game development, you want to go for an Android or iOS app development, or maybe you want to go for a web development. Other than that, you can go for a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer, or maybe a data scientist or something. Or maybe you can do something with data analysis or something. Well, none of these are my things. I am actually based on web development. So likewise, you need to choose the path, and then you have to look for which languages are necessary for you to learn if you want to pursue the career in that path. So once you know that, you know which programming languages you need to start. So start programming in that, or start learning you with that language or something. You just need to maybe at least know the basic syntax, build your logic properly, learn some algorithms and data structures, master that programming language, and then based on your need or your path, you can actually switch from one path to another. So that won't be very difficult for you. And that's a very basic step for you to start learning to code and continue the way. Okay, so have you ever been to Ukraine? No, unfortunately, no, I didn't. I have visited multiple countries in Europe, but not yet. I'm living in Germany, by the way. Yeah. So, okay, somebody wrote, I am 2020 graduate in mechanical field and now I start to learn programming. Would it be difficult to get a job? Okay, this is an important thing. By starting to learn programming or by learning a language, you do not get a job. To get a job, you need to know the language well. You need to at least have some projects which showcase that what you have learned throughout the years, or maybe throughout the courses that you have gone through. You need to properly showcase yourself to the recruiter so that they do not find that, okay, you're just doing something basic. That's not the point. It doesn't matter how many projects you do. Once you have learned something, you're doing the projects, and each of these projects shows the basic, not just the basic things. It shows that you have at least the capability of like implementing whatever you have learned, and then of course the core concepts that the recruiters wants to see. If those are already there, then of course it will be easier for you to get a chance in an interview at least, and then you need to prove your worth. From there onwards, it's all on you. And okay, so there are questions regarding which programming language is in demand to get started with freelancing. As I said, whatever you are doing, whatever your gig might be related to, you should research that and then you will find it yourself. I cannot say that because there is no specific language. And somebody said certificate of completion of any programming language is required to get an internship in a second or third year of B.Tech. Well, as I said, internship, working student, full-time job, whatever it is, part-time job, it's all the same thing. When you want to work for a software company or maybe a software development job, you need to showcase. It doesn't matter what you've completed. I have a bachelor's degree, on the verge of completing a master's degree. I have previous work experience, but even then, if I do not have the proper things, the core things that the recruiters want to see, and if I'm applying for an internship, I won't get it anyway. So that's the thing. You need to have at least those core things in your projects or something to showcase, so that even if you're applying for a full-time job or the least a working student, you will be getting a chance to go for an interview and then prove yourself. So there are some more not just questions, they were like statements. Jobs for fresher, I don't know. Look for job portals in your country or maybe internationally, wherever you want, apply there. Then there's a question about which company hiring without online assessment. I have no idea. You like I don't think there is a list or something. If there is, maybe you just find it in the internet. I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. Somebody said, I'm learning React and Node.js in backend. Which technology should I choose, bhaiya? Okay, bhaiya. If you're learning React and Node.js in backend, which technology should you choose? I think I'm a little bit confused because you already said what you're learning, and maybe you're going for a full stack path. I don't know how to answer this, but I think you're on the right track. You're learning React, you're learning Node. If you are asking like what to choose next, maybe choose a database, maybe a NoSQL or a SQL database, MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres, whatever you need to like attach with the React and Node application, maybe which you're creating. So yeah, go for it. So there is, how is Rails to learn? If you're talking about Ruby on Rails, I think it's good. It has quite demand in Europe as far as I know. And maybe if you want to learn Ruby on Rails, there is the Odin Project. It's completely free. You can learn the Ruby on Rails inside a full stack development with Ruby on Rails path. So yeah, that's a good thing. Then I don't think web development and masters or immigration queries, there is no query there, so I don't know what to answer there. What skills we must acquire to work at BMW, and what is the recruitment process in it? Okay, first of all, you should understand this, that I am like doing my master, so I'm not allowed to do a full-time job yet. But then again, I can do like internships or working student jobs. So there was an opening in the full stack development sector in BMW for an internship. So I had to apply for it because ultimately I will be having these as a extra credit in my course, in my master's course. So that's why I applied for an internship, and the recruitment process was actually like just one interview, and that interview actually evaluates like how you can perform, how you are, like what are you capable of. So yeah, these are basically the things. And about skills we must acquire, it's as I just said before, you need to like learn the things, maybe whatever you path you want to go ahead. So you should know those things, and of course you should have projects to showcase the core concepts of those technologies. So yeah, these are basically the things which BMW sees. And of course the result is important. So I don't know, like a result of your degrees, these are important. So you need to have good grades, a little more than average, I think. But of course I think there are other ways, like if you have good projects or if you have a high profile, like maybe not a high profile, I should say, if you have a rich profile, then I think you might have a chance, you might have a shot, so do it. Then somebody says an art student can make a career in data engineering. Of course, anybody can. And somebody said, can you suggest CSS sites to practice? You can go to my Instagram. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below, or maybe you have already come from Instagram. I have shared several links to like CSS courses or so. So please see those. I think you're going to get your answer. So I think that's the end of some of the questions. Like I got a lot more questions, but those were, I think, related to the questions I've answered. So more or less, that's all for the question and Q&A session. So I hope these are helpful for you. And if you have questions, feel free to comment below, or maybe I will do more Q&A on Instagram again, so you can ask again. And hopefully I will answer in the next video. So see you next time. Till then, goodbye.